Welcome, everyone. This is Coffee with the Journalist. I'm Beck Bamberger, and we are here to demystify the relationships, the tension, the challenges sometimes with reporters and us publicists, because we all got to work together and get our jobs done. And we both need each other. So that is why we're here for Coffee with the Journalist. I don't even know what episode we're on, 200 something like that. We've had fabulous people on here like Monica today. Monica Sager is a reporter from Newsweek, and she's here with us to tell us what she loves about her job and probably some pitches she doesn't like. So welcome, Monica.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes. Okay. I know, Monica, you already said I got some pitches ready to go. But you also said, so you're in Boston.
Yes,
Great. And it's not as chilly as usual up there, you said right now, too. So,
surprisingly.
okay. We're doing this in December, everybody, just so you know. So, yeah, it's warmer every day everywhere. But Monica, I usually like to start out with just asking people, for those who maybe are not as familiar, how would you incorporate or detail the coverage of Newsweek? Because it's a big national outlet, but people need a refresher.
Of course. We really cover anything and everything.
Mhm.
Recently I've been doing a lot of politics. So that
Fun.
included going that included going on the road, to the rallies, to the people's
Oh,
doors, on
oh,
election day.
oh God, you were doing the bus? Like you were doing
Yeah,
that bus?
I didn't do the bus, but I
Oh,
went
okay.
down myself. And then on
Oh, wow.
election day, I went from Philly all the way to Pittsburgh. So just getting the story on the ground. But
Wow.
yeah, so we do stuff like that, but also stuff like new lawsuits coming out from the Supreme Court, attorney generals, just really what's happening, breaking news, whatever that might be.
Wow. Wow. So, how, before we get into that, like, how was that being on the trail?
On
Being
election day.
yeah, tell us a little bit more.
It was crazy. It was definitely very interesting. I grew up outside of Philly, so it was
Hmm.
really cool to be in that area to see how the people there were thinking and feeling on the day. I got a whole wide variety of voices, a whole wide variety of different stories. I was able to go to that county where the polls like shut down for, I think it was like an hour because of all the technical difficulties they were having.
Oh my
So we
gosh.
had that
Oh my God.
story, but also just how people were either feeling optimistic or not so optimistic.
Yeah. What
So
a time to be alive, Monica.
exactly.
What a time. Wow. Okay. So, in brief, yeah, Newsweek covers every dang thing. And it's been around, I forget the date, but it's been around forever. So, big national, huge outlet. Tell us a little bit more about what you're now covering, because yes, you've kind of sprinkled and gone over all over the place. So, how would you define what you're looking for now? And especially since we're recording this in December 2024, if you have any insight into your 2025 coverage
Yeah.
areas, that would be great.
I know that at least through the inauguration, a lot of our focus is on politics. Probably
Hmm.
will be as well afterwards. So if this comes out after, still give me all those politics pitches.
Hmm.
Before I focused on the election, I was covering a lot of AI. So I know that's one of our interests.
Hmm.
I did a lot of with OpenAI and like ChatGPT and all of
Yes,
that,
you
but
did.
also just how it's affecting small businesses.
Hmm.
And then
And could you clarify that a little bit too? We're in like what we work with is like tech and
yeah,
those outlets, and so these are maybe not the open AIs, but they're like baby companies coming up. They're venture
exactly.
backed and such. So is that of interest as well?
Yes, absolutely. Because AI is a new technology that no one really knows how it works, but
No one
everybody seems to
knows.
be
Everyone's
interested
figuring it out. Everyone's figuring it out.
in
It's
it.
all good.
Exactly.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
Okay,
but even
Monica. Yeah.
beyond that, I'm interested in other stories, whatever you want to be told. I have to always pitch it to my editor. But if it's an interesting story and it's breaking news, we are almost always gonna go for it.
Okay. This is exciting. How is your inbox? Would you describe?
Very hectic. It is very full, especially first thing in the morning.
And then how do you clean it or do whatever? So you're saying very hectic, but give us a little bit more insight. Lots of pitches, lots of your newsletters, lots of all. What would you say?
A little bit of newsletters, a lot of it is pitches, but not to preview what we're going to with the headlines later, but a lot of them are very similar and very uninteresting in that sense. So I almost always can just tell which ones I can delete pretty quickly.
So you're saying very similar. Now, how are they similar? Is because you just feel like, oh, someone just copy and pasted. It's clearly not for me. Or would you say like
Honestly,
everyone's
though,
pitching me the same stuff? Yeah, tell
yeah,
me.
a lot of them say like new study reveals and then something. But the study is just searches on Google. So it's not even it's not even their own study.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. You said you came, well, actually, before we go into the pitches that you have. So what do you do to control the mayhem?
I delete a lot, like I said, but beyond that, I'll read in the ones that I think are interesting. Sometimes I'll ask for more information or ask for that embargoed report. Beyond that, it's really just filtering through it.
Okay. And are you by means a inbox zero person?
No, I always,
Okay.
every say 6 months or so, I try to do oh, I can delete all of these emails, but
Yep.
it
Okay.
really builds up in between the times.
Yeah. So are you a let it ride person then?
I'll delete them, but if I read it, I normally forget to delete it. So then it
Okay.
just stays there.
And it's just there. Then it's just there. So then you said for the ones that like intrigue you, the ones that you're like, oh, what's catching your eye for like, this is one I have to open because this is where
Yeah.
the subject line becomes the total slay.
A lot of the ones that say embargo always interest me because that must mean
Hmm.
that it's going to be something big coming up soon that we can even prepare for rather than it just being, oh, it has to be done now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, we'll obviously always acknowledge the embargo and respect that, but it also gives us a chance to go forward and dive deeper into it with
Mm-hmm.
them or do additional interviews. And
Mm-hmm.
with that, we also get the ones that say like the interviews with CEO or like interview opportunity. I think those ones are also always catching my eye.
Okay. Okay. You have some pitches that you said you were
Yeah.
coming with. So like some examples. So, and you don't have to name names unless you want to give a shout out to anybody that you really loved, but go ahead. Do share with us, Monica, because we love a real peek into what's going on.
Yeah. So a weird one that I've actually
Oh,
gotten a
weird.
lot in the past
Okay.
week or so
Yeah.
has
Yeah.
randomly just been no subject line.
So it's just, it, what
Nothing.
is it? It's blank. It's just
It's
blank.
fully blank. So that my email says in parentheses, no subject line.
I've never heard this before, by the
It has
way.
happened a lot. I don't know why, but a lot since Thanksgiving. It has happened.
People moving too fast or something?
Maybe it's the holidays they want to get done with their work for the
What
day. I don't
is
know.
what? That's weird.
It
Okay.
really is.
Okay. But do you open those?
No, because I've
No, because
realized
you're
I
like,
opened like the first or second one, and then I realized that it's the same. What I was saying, like the study reveals ones. So.
yeah. Okay. Wow. Okay. Okay. What else do you got?
Yeah, so I mentioned the embargo ones. I love those. So like there's been a bunch of podcast ones around those that I've gotten where they offer me their transcript. So it'd be like embargo, whatever date, and then the host of the podcast talks with whoever. Sometimes it includes like a topic in it. Sometimes it just features who it is because it's a special guest and they're well known enough that it would spark my interest. But
Mhm.
a lot of the times those big names is what definitely is getting my attention.
Okay. So big names are catching you. Okay. Got you. And then do you have any, do you want to go more into like turn offs? I mean, obviously the subject line that's blank, but like what else you got, Monica?
Yeah, I can tell you one of the reveal, like I said, the new study reveals. So it's like study reveals top state with car crash, or study reveals the most at-risk ages for drivers, or like most betting states and stuff like that. A lot of them around the election were trying to tie
Mm,
in like red states are more likely to do blank and stuff like that. Where again, it's just based off of Google searches and Google Trends.
mhm.
A lot of the time,
Which you could find yourself. Yeah.
yeah, it's not really original study per
Yeah.
se.
God dang.
So
Uh, okay. Monica, now you said earlier that you're in like the Boston area. Do you want to make relationships with publicists and how does that even look?
Yeah, I'd love to, and I have before. I
Okay.
love just having a conversation with them, even off of email. Um,
Okay.
Fully willing to give out my phone number. It's in my email subheading. So people have texted me when they have an idea. People have called me, and that kind of a
Mm-hmm.
relationship has definitely worked a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mentioned with the OpenAI before, and just other AI generated technology. I've had a few relationships with that where people now just text me like, "Hey, this is coming up." I know that happened a lot more with like local papers oftentimes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I saw that a lot in my previous jobs where
Mm-hmm.
like a city councilor might text me. But even that, I'm cool with
That's kind of
having
cool.
a conversation if there's something big happening. We've written about like the Boston city councilors recently as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I like that you're getting text messages from officials and stuff.
I
That's cool.
know.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. Okay. So yes, to relationships, and you're open to that. Do you ever want to do though, the more, hey, do you want to get on a call like on Zoom for 20 minutes and talk about clients or whatever? Like, is that ever something you want to do? No, huh? I
I've
see your
done
I
it
see
a
your
few
face.
times, and it
No.
always just almost feels like, for lack of a better term, a waste of time.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
not a story that I have in
Hmm.
that moment. It's just, "Oh, you might meet this person, and it might help you eventually,"
Yeah.
and it's not what I need at that time. I could be writing something else.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Good. Okay. So no Zoom calls, coffee calls. No, we're not
Not the
doing that.
biggest fan.
By the way, are you going to be doing conferences? Are you going to be out and about?
It's definitely an option. Yeah, definitely an option. I can always pitch to them.
Okay. Do you have any that you know for 2025 that you're like, "Oh, yes, I will be there."
None that I'm aware of yet. I've been looking at it and starting to browse. So if
Got
people
you.
have ideas for me, they can send
Okay.
them along.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about story approval
Mhm.
process, Monica, because we've had executive editors on here, all types of editors and publisher people. We've had the whole array. And I think it's helpful to demystify sometimes how this goes with, getting the story live. It's not just like you're like, oh, cool, I want to write about this. Hit the button. It
Exactly.
doesn't often happen like that. So can you give us a little inside peek into that approval process that
Yeah, of course.
happens? Yeah.
So I start work each morning now at 9 o'clock. It
Okay.
actually used to be
ET.
8. Nine's a
Oh.
little helpful now with all these pitches and everything coming in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But around 8:30 or so, my
Mhm,
editor Carlo, he writes out this whole like, here's what today looks like. And he'll give us each probably about one or two pitches himself first thing in the morning. And then from there, I can start pitching things. If I am aware of something that happened, or if I am like today, I watched CNN and Senator Fetterman was being interviewed right there. So we were able to
mhm,
take from that type of thing. So obviously,
mhm,
just pitching straight from that.
mhm.
Um,
Okay.
so those stories that I'm pitching, I have to just put them in our chat or go directly to an editor, say, here's what I'm thinking, maybe give a quote or two that's the big takeaway for the whole thing, and just explain why it's so important. So, especially with those ones I'm saying, like the study reveals, never really has that grab that we need. It always should have something that I can hook onto, like a reason why I want to write about this now rather than in 10 days, per se. So even that's the same process, even if somebody is emailing me, that I reach out to the editor, just be like, hey, here's what I'm thinking, here's what they pitched to me. Then we set up an interview with the PR person, do the interview, write the article, and then it goes to an editor for edits, and then it will finally be published.
Okay. And how quickly does that process go, just for us publicists to know?
Depends upon the story. So if it's
Mhm.
something breaking, like again, today being December, Trump was named the person of the year today. He was at the New York Stock Exchange ringing in the bell. That one I had to get turned around. That one I had
He
to turn
was?
around within
Okay.
like 20 minutes type thing because
Oh,
of
yeah.
breaking news. Um, but a longer story or a story that isn't as time sensitive, but still maybe is important today to be written can have like an hour or 2 hours if needed.
Okay. Oh, so pretty quickly.
Yeah, definitely. If it also depends upon the interview. So if a CEO, I want to interview somebody like that, somebody's pitching me, isn't available until that afternoon, we can always deal with that.
Oh, can we talk about that just with the timeliness of interviews and stuff? So one of the pet peeves that creeps up on here is, hey, publicist, you just said you have so-and-so ready to be interviewed. Then you don't answer me for 7 hours. You know,
I've also had publicists tell me that they have a CEO for me or like a football coach, and then they're not available.
Wait, they're not available, or they actually don't? Well, yeah, they're not available probably.
They're like, oh, we can offer you this interview with this person. And then I say, oh, great, I'd love that. And then they're like, oh, no, never mind.
Oh, burn. That's not good. How often does that happen?
Very rarely. That's only happened.
Okay, I was gonna say that's boo-boo PR. Okay. Not good. Monica, are there any pet peeves that just grind your gears, as my dad likes to say?
I hate the, hey, Monica, checking back in. Do you want this story? I'm like, if I didn't respond, there's a good chance I don't want that story.
Yeah. Then, I mean, that's going to be on our list of questions of the follow-ups. We'll get there. Okay. Anything else?
Like you said, with the long responses, I totally understand that people have other things to take care of. But if you're pitching me specifically rather than me reaching out to you, then let's try to get it done quickly.
Yeah. Ooh, how often? That's a good question too. We don't often get into. How often are you doing the outbound to the publicist or to the company and waiting for the publicist?
Definitely pretty often. We reach out for almost every article that we write to try to get a comment.
Wow. Okay. Ooh. So I imagine part of your game is the waiting game.
Yeah, definitely. I will always, if somebody messages me later, I'm able to update an article. So if I put something out saying we reached out to whoever for comment, and then they later reach out, I can update it then.
That's kind of good to know. But I'm sure you don't like the pitch that's, hey, yeah, that article you just published is awesome, but could you just change it so I can include my client in there?
Exactly. It is sometimes helpful if I'm in the moment writing something. Like it's happened a few times with the election where somebody says, oh, I saw you wrote about this policy issue. Here's also this. And that sometimes helps. But I'll agree with you that normally it's just like, oh, I already wrote it. I don't need that anymore.
Yeah, no. Okay. Monica, I have a little flash list of questions here. If we can go into it and you tell me what your answers are. First, video or phone interview?
Ooh. I say video allows me to actually clarify that it's the real person.
Oh, good. Good point. Go ahead.
Phone can sometimes be a little easier time-wise because I know people aren't always right in front of their computer. And that way, if you're driving or something, I can just hop on the phone with you and get all the questions done. Either way, I can still record with permission or type out. So it works for me.
Bullet points or paragraphs?
Ooh. Bullet points, write out quotes.
Ooh, write out quotes. Okay. Short or long pitches?
Short.
Of course. No one answers long. Actually, on occasion. Images attached or a Dropbox zip file?
Dropbox zip file, because then I have more options.
Okay. Twitter or a DM of some sort?
Twitter.
Wait, you said Twitter?
Yeah, I mean, I get responses all the time, and it has led to a few stories.
Oh, so you don't mind a DM on Twitter or X, whatever we're calling it now?
I've gotten it before. I'm fine with emails is easier.
Okay, so emails easier. Okay, got you. Okay. Now, one follow-up or multiple?
One. It's that. Like I said, it sometimes is annoying. Even the hey, Monica, do you really want this?
Yeah. Direct or creative subject lines?
Direct. Yeah,
Just
I have one. I brought way more than I needed, but I had one that was like from Katz's Diner to Alaska, and I was like, what does that even mean?
okay. Press release or media kit?
Press release. Media kit often has too much information.
Yeah, too much in there. Okay. We already talked about when you read pitches, usually when you're getting in the hopper for 9 a.m. when you start your day. Any sources that you're looking for, particularly now?
Um, Really just expert sources are always needed. So if somebody that I would say actually goes back to the regular like introduction conversations you asked about.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one time I'll sometimes remember that, oh, I have a source for this. Um, I don't normally do an introduction like conversation, but if I got an email being like, oh, here's this CEO or here's this president that could talk to you about this topic, I
Mm-hmm.
have
Mm-hmm.
gone back a few times to those emails and like, oh, I have somebody for this.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So you do go back and you look and go, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Someone did send that to me. Okay. It's good to know. Reporters often use, we find their inboxes as their own personal Google. They search in and like, oh, okay. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Monica, is there anything you want to promote, highlight, tout? Anything coming up for next year?
I mean, we're covering the inauguration and everything up into it and
Oh
after it.
my
So
God. So your whole life will be consumed by that. Awesome.
100%.
Oh, Monica. Well, Monica, tidings to you and good lucks and all the things. And yeah, good luck. Good luck. And I
Thank
wish you
you.
well with all that. Thank you for being here, Miss Monica.